Hello, my friends. We got a short episode for you today because there's something big going on that the patriot side of America better learn about. The left side already knows about it. It's already being promoted. I found over 40 cities across the country where this is being promoted. It's the next deadly plan of the left, and it's going to be a big problem, a huge problem. There's a national network tied to the globalists that is creating their next strategy for making America ungovernable. You got to remember, they know they're not going to remove Trump. They just want America to be an absolute mess under him, which they did in his first term. The first 2 years were spent on the Mueller trial and the Trump convictions and all that nonsense. Russia hoax. And then right as that 2 years ended, boom. Here came COVID. They are going to disrupt this one even worse. They are not going to let Trump have 3.5 more years to keep winning like he's been doing. They're going to do whatever they can, and I'm telling you, they've got their plan, and this one is going to get rough. It's going to get ugly. These people are evil, but they know what the hell they're doing. Have you ever heard of food apartheid? Yes, apartheid, like in South Africa, when they had the white government ruling all the black people, apartheid. Now we've got the white people stealing food from the black man. How about food deserts? Have you heard of that? Yeah, there's places in the country where you just can't buy food because of racism. The white man doesn't want to sell groceries to the black man. You and I both know it's nonsense. Long story short, what they've done, they found a city where they were closing a couple of grocery stores. The corporation decided to close a couple stores because of losses. A lot of times in the black neighborhoods, they have to close because the cops are being called in constantly. They have high incidences of shoplifting. They're high crime areas. We all know this. That can't be denied. So a corporation, they have to cut their losses. Companies are constantly closing stores, reopening elsewhere. They close a store, someone else opens a store up. This is a natural progression of business. But you can't leave a store open in a neighborhood where you're getting robbed, the people are getting robbed in the parking lot. Bad things are happening in the neighborhood. It's not safe for the employees. A store can't survive in an area like that, so they close them. The Democrats have been smart enough to jump on this, and they're creating the dialogue of this being food apartheid and the white man creating food deserts because under Trump, nobody cares if the minorities eat. Nobody cares about the poor people. What about the poor old white people in the neighborhood? Nobody cares because Trump is president. Stores are closing because they're evil. People have a right to food. This gets a lot worse. This is just the beginning of it. You gotta hear that. Hey, just a quick note. This YouTube channel is new, and I'll tell you what, it's turned into a lot more work than I thought it was going to be. This video editing is a nightmare. We moved everything here. We need your support if we're going to make it. If you're getting anything of value out of it, please click the like button. Please subscribe, because I'll guarantee you we're going to continue to bring you things like what they don't say. Everything we give you will be documented either through our Constitution or recent events that we can verify. There's never going to be any wild, unproven conspiracy theories, no conjecture. It's all documentable. If you don't want to get by surprise, we got the best record of political predictions available anywhere, and that is well documented. Send us your comments if there's something you want covered. Hell yes, we'll cover it. We're happy to be here for you. So please, like it, subscribe. We need the boost. We're new and we got to grow. Everybody has heard of the Kroger Corporation. It's a giant food distribution network. They've got stores under all these brands you see here. As a corporation, they have to shut down the stores that don't pay, and they open up new ones that do. Under all these different brands, they do this. In 2018, they closed 60 stores under the Kroger brand nationwide, and they opened up others. They said that they were going to do an 18-month plan to close 60. They got that done. Now 2025, they've got another 18-month plan to close 60 more. Last time we didn't hear anything about it. Now it's a Trump creation to starve black people? Are you kidding me? They got another 18-month plan to close 60 more. Well, it just so happens that some of them are pick and save stores that are concentrated in black areas of Milwaukee And that's right where they ran to. I'm telling you, these people are good. They ran to that, and they're making it look like because of Trump, grocery stores in black neighborhoods are shutting down, creating food apartheid. A lot of store chains have closed stores. They do it all the time. They have to survive. Nobody is obligated to keep a store open at a financial loss. Pick and Save got picked out for these because Democrats are working on the narrative for their program of food socialism. Milwaukee is a test market for that. That is why they singled out those 5 Pick and Saves. Out of all the hundreds of stores that close across the country, they focused on this. These people are good. When I first launched this new channel, I decided to call it What They Don't Say because the details are always hidden in what they don't say. Now, I don't know why right-wing media isn't picking this up yet, but it's been an ongoing problem for a long time. For some reason, you'll notice as you listen to them, 90% of their talk is focused on what already happened, but we can't be prepared unless we know what's going to happen. I've racked up the most accurate series of predictions of any source anywhere out there. My old friends know this. I was on national radio, 150 shows coast to coast talking about all of this. January 9th, before the COVID thing hit, we knew they were going to do something. I was on a radio show in Arizona, out of Phoenix, Patriot radio show. They were talking to a bunch of financial experts and all these people with, a list of creds as long as their arm. They had degrees in this, degrees in that, a professional manager of this and that. And they were asking these people, what do you think our predictions are for the GDP, for the economy for the following year? All of them, they're rubbing their chins. It's like, well, I think we're going to have 3% growth. Of course, that's what all the financial experts were saying. Then came my turn. I said, we're about to hit the rocks. I said, something is going to happen. I don't know what the left has planned, but they're going to do something to bring down the economy. They cannot let Trump keep winning. This is going to be a horrible year for the country, for business, and for the economy. I said, I don't know what it is, but they are not going to let it happen. They're not going to let Trump rack up successes. The host of the show cut my mic off and went ahead and started talking to others. They were all just kind of quiet for a minute, like, well, this guy's crazy. No wonder he's not a financial expert. No, but I am an expert on predicting what the left is going to do next and following the politics of this country. I was right. About a month after I said that, we started hearing the first rattlings of COVID. By mid-March, the country was shut down. I was right. We did not get that 3%. The left did rise up to destroy the economy under Trump. They're doing it again, my friends. They're doing it again. Trump has had his honeymoon period, and he's rocked it. They cannot allow that. Dem numbers are tanking. His are rising. They cannot allow that. What's the best way to reach people? Freebies. We know that. Here's the reason you need to know about this now, and it's also the reason that right-wing media isn't talking about it. Right-wing media very seldom catches anything early. They wait until it's national news and then they pick it up. However, the Democrats know better than that. What they do, they'll start testing an idea in a couple of markets. If it doesn't work, they just drop it and go away. And they're testing this one in markets across the country right now. I'm going to show you some things that I first keyed in on from the Milwaukee market. Milwaukee is a hardcore lefty town. The Democrats are very active there. They got a good structure. They're test driving their terms because you've got to have terms, catchy terms, if you want the public to get involved. One of their catchy terms, food apartheid. It's racism if you close a store in a black neighborhood. You're creating a food desert. That's another term. Food apartheid. Honest to God, this is a term that they're using. If you check my links below, you will see it for yourself. They're rounding up their activists. They're using the No Kings protests to do this. They're recruiting from those protests. That's the only reason they're having these protests. And it works. So they're rounding up the activists. They're developing the dialogue for this. They need catchy little terms that get attention and get the cheering crowds out there saying, yeah, I'm a victim. This is what the white people be doing to me. This is what America under Trump does to the downtrodden. These people are good. They work with all these groups. All their groups have fallen apart because the Democrat Party's done so damn bad. So these globalists are stepping in and they've taken over. They are not letting the Democrats fail under Trump. And right now they're doing it bad. This is the globalist movement. They are taking over the show. They have taken over the stage for the next act, and this is going to be bad. They're pushing for socialized groceries. They want partial takeover to begin with. They want some takeover of the grocery distribution system. Remember, Trump's taking everybody off EBT. People have a right to food. It's a basic human right. We've got food apartheid because the white people can eat and the black people can't. Forget that the Asians and the Hispanics are eating just fine. The people that work, they're preying on the minds of the most vulnerable and weak people that are easily led. Right-wing media is not picking this up because it hasn't gone national. It is going to go national. You are going to know about it because you heard this. You're going to be way ahead of it because you heard this, and you're not going to believe what's coming. Right now, the reason it hasn't gone national is because they're still putting their game together. They're working on it. They're testing it in small markets. They're adapting. They're seeing what works, what doesn't work. They're seeing how to work with media on this, what lines work well, what jerks the public's attention. These people are good at using media to promote these things. And when they think they've got their act dialed in, they are going to go national. And the goal is they want to socialize food distribution. That candidate in New York, Mandami, the new guy that is a crazy socialist, admitted socialist, he wants to socialize New York food supply. He quit talking about it because it was unpopular and he still has to win. The globalists are taking up the slack for him. He has their support. He backed off of it because they're putting a team together to do this nationally. Milwaukee is not the only place where they've done this. They're going to go to every city where stores have closed in the black neighborhood. They're going to go to everybody that lost their EBT cards because they weren't qualified for them or they refused to work and they're able-bodied. A lot of people are losing their food benefits because they won't work. Now this makes them the perfect victims. This is going to be bad. Now, I don't feel a bit guilty saying that a 300-pound baby mama with 2-inch manicured fingernails, which would break off if you actually did any work, $4,000 worth of tattoos, 60 or 80 bucks in garage broom eyelashes, and a $250 braided 3-foot wig. I can't believe she's starving because of food apartheid, because of Trump. And it looks to me like she's probably making some bad life choices with her money. If you just pass by the beauty parlor and the nail salon and the tattoo shop and go straight to the grocery store to feed your kids, maybe you'd find you could actually afford to feed them. Come on, this is obvious. Like I say, there's a reason I named this channel What They Don't Say. There, it got said. We got to give the devil his due. And if these Democrats are good at one thing, that is organizing their street army to get those people out busy. Everyone always wonders, how come the people in San Diego are carrying the same printed signs as the people in New York and Dayton, Ohio and Pisgah, Iowa? They've all got the same signs. That's because the Democrats have a national machine. These people, they're brilliant organizers. Do not think that the people that you see running the Democrat Party, the people they trot out in front of us like Schumer and Jeffries, they're not the ones in charge. We still don't know who is actually running it, but it's globalists because the same thing is happening in Europe at the same time, and it has been for a long time. The goal is to bring down Western civilization. Trump is standing in their way. They cannot let him keep succeeding. So right now, they're getting ready to start a food crisis. And no, I'm not kidding. I know we still have grocery stores. You can still go out and buy food. Yes, they're manufacturing a food crisis. And my friends, this is going to be bad. It's going to be ugly. There are going to be people in the streets from one side of the country to the other. This is going to be worse than BLM. You know, Antifa never had anything more than a few buses of activists that they had to move around. That never really caught on. They needed something that would catch on with everybody, and they are doing it. Like I say, I've uncovered cities, over 40 cities, with different versions of this same story? If you did not hear my last episode where I talked about the No Kings protest and how their recruiting process works, that's why they're having the No Kings, and that's growing too. They're having the No Kings protest so they can recruit their warriors, their street people. This is what they're recruiting them for. They're recruiting them for this food war that is coming. Now, if you go down to my links after this program's over, you're going to see 2 links in there. These are news broadcasts that I found that will verify what I'm saying. They go out on the street, and here's the Democrats are so good at this because the news people are in bed with them, right? They'll go out on the street and they'll say, hey, come here, will you talk for a minute? Yeah, what do you think about the food shortage? Blah, blah, blah. And then somebody will start talking to the microphone, and it makes it look like they just pick random people. No. These people are all rehearsed. They've had meetings after meetings after meetings. These people are Democrat activists. The reporters pretend that it's just the guy on the street. No, every one of them is right out of Democrat Central casting. Now, there's a girl. I've shown her picture before. Her name is Jessica Thompson. I've tried to find out how many people know who this girl is. Obviously, she's a college kid. Obviously, she's a lefty. She's severely indoctrinated. Probably raised that way, and then also got some more influence while she was in college, because the girl is educated. She's pretty well spoken. She's absolute nutjob crazy, but somehow she has the title of the Milwaukee Food Council Community Engagement Manager. How many cities have that food title, that job title? Come on. Is this a salary position? Who the hell is paying this person? What kind of non-government organization, the NGO, is paying for this? What kind of government grant is fueling this? Doja uncovered a lot of deception where money was taken for one purpose and used for another. I would almost guarantee you that this is paid for with federal funds. Milwaukee Food Council Community Engagement Manager. What is the salary? I don't think there is one, except as an NGO. They make it look like it's a city position. I don't believe it is. However, this girl's pretty well spoken. She's the one that they chose to trot out the food apartheid. She goes on to say that capitalism is ruining the food distribution system. I found other people in other cities talking about this. No one else used the food apartheid. I think that was her invention. But they're talking about capitalism makes it impossible for poor people to eat. This is global socialists. They are after America. They want to bring down Western civilization. They're doing it by convincing people they have a right to food. It's a basic human right, just like breathing air. Whether you work, whether you don't, the fact that you exist entitles you to food, just like it does health care. They've already been through the health care thing. That's played out. However, if you're hungry, you go to a grocery store, they don't have to feed you. They've got to make America ungovernable. They got to have people mad. Capitalism is ruining the food supply for the downtrodden, for the victims, for the people that don't want to pay for food, all right? This college kid, this girl, I don't know if she's going to become a national manager. I strongly suspect she is because she does so well. But if you look at the videos, in the links below, you will see that they pose her in a couple of different positions. They make it look like they ran into her outside a grocery store. In other news clips, they make it look like they just stumbled upon her in the neighborhood and she started talking to them about food. That's what they do. They get these Democrat activists right out of central casting, and they coach these people on what to say. They sit with the reporters and decide all this. Then they go out on the street. Now, in another broadcast, they got the little skinny black guy, the little lefty that's out there talking about the food deserts and, oh, the pick and save is closed. Where are these people going to go? And then make it look like they're getting in their car and driving to the next place, right? The guy says, oh my God, we had to drive 5 minutes to get to another grocery store. 5 minutes. It's like, so? Hell, if you hit the traffic lights wrong, you can be 2 blocks away and take 5 minutes to get to a grocery store, right? He said, if you have to go by bus, it's 13 minutes. It's 20 minutes if you have to walk. Well, then you plan ahead, don't you? There's a lot of places in the country where people would be happy to have a store 20 minutes away. I used to live out in rural Iowa, about halfway between Des Moines and Omaha. You could go to a local grocery store where everything costs twice as much as it would in a city. It took us 45 minutes to drive to a big store where we could stock up and fill the fridge for the month. And these people are suffering because it's a 5-minute car ride to get from the closed store that had to close because of crime to a little bit safer neighborhood where they could buy groceries without getting robbed in the parking lot. That's a problem. That means that capitalism is destroying the food supply. But people are going to jump on this. They're going to have food apartheid teams across the country. Like I say, I found about 40 cities across the country, somewhere between 35 and 41. I had them all written down, and the list became a mess, and believe me, it takes a lot of research to do this stuff. There's a lot of places where this is happening. I use Milwaukee as an example because they led with the pick and save. They got 5 pick and saves that are closing in black neighborhoods. Every one of them's in a black neighborhood. Every one of them has the same problem. You can't blame a store for closing when they can't afford to stay open. Stores close all the time. Walgreens, Family Dollar, stores close all the time. We've seen this. Other stores open up. How many Kmart stores did we lose? All of them? Where's the closest Sears store? What happened in Montgomery Ward? Stores close all the time. But no, now they've got to make it look like a grocery store closing under Trump capitalism, destroying the food industry. You've got to make it look like under Trump capitalism, the evil capitalism where you have to work for your money and then spend your money to buy food. That's destroying the rights of food distribution to everybody so they can just live. That's where they're going with this. And these people are going to be angry. You're going to have the welfare mamas out in the street. You're going to have every bleeding heart liberal, the old ladies with the fanny packs and the floppy hats. Oh my God. Of course, half of them are wealthy, right? They're not going to give up any money to feed these people. If all the rich liberals would just split their money with the poor ones, I think it would solve all their problems, wouldn't it? But no, they're not going to go there, are they? Yeah, their compassion stops at their wallet. But this is where we're headed, folks. This is going to be bad. It's going to be really bad. Remember I said it. Start telling your friends. Watch the 2 videos in the link. If you learn anything from this show, please hit the like. Please share it. This is a new channel. We moved everything over here. We need the distribution. We need the attention. If you got something you want covered, let us know. Send us a comment. However, don't take these lefties lightly. They're evil, but they're very good at using people. They're very good at it. They're using the No Kings protest to recruit the armies. They're going to feed the armies. The food desert, food apartheid, capitalism is destroying the food supply thing. That's coming next, and it's all because of Trump. They're going to start with a mandatory minimum requirement for food. Everyone has a right to food. Just a starvation stipend, right? And you know what happens then? They get their foot in the door, the camel nose under the tent, and then they start increasing it. That's what they want to do. If you want to know who's promoting this, have you ever heard of the Women's March movement? Probably not. I hadn't. They got over 150 organizations nationwide. 60 organizations have been in contact with the people in Milwaukee. 60 organizations? How many can you even name? They're trying to reach 100. That's who is signing up to help them with this. I'm telling you, they are assembling an army against us. Everyone's going to be caught by surprise unless you share this. Unless you talk about this, because right now you're the only ones on the right that knows. I don't know why it isn't being covered. I suppose because it's not national. It's being covered in individual markets around the country. Go back and watch the last video that we produced about how the No Kings protest is used for recruiting, because I worked as a spy inside the Democrat Party for a while just to see how their organization worked, and they're good. And I'm telling you, little Miss Jessica Thompson, Milwaukee Food Council Community Engagement Manager. That's a friggin' Democrat activist. Right now, they're setting those up in other cities. You can bet today there are people that have food council community engagement managers. There are cities that have them that didn't have them 2 weeks ago. They're setting this up. If you take it lightly, go ahead. You're just going to be surprised like the people were when COVID hit. Conservatives who laugh at these people and say they're stupid, they're useful idiots, are always caught napping because these people are dangerous. People laughed at me when I said that we were going to go down in 2018. Here came COVID. People laughed at me in 2012 when I said Trump would be a great president. They told me, oh, hell, he's just a Democrat and he'd have Oprah as the vice president. You got to trust me on this stuff, people. It is coming. The people who've listened to me for a long time, you know what I'm saying. You know my predictions are correct. This is going to be bad. Do not get caught sleeping. Get ready for your food apartheid, folks, because you're stealing food from the poor folk. Well, if we get this right, if we get ahead of it, maybe God will continue to bless this great country of ours.